Hello everyone and welcome back to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start a playthrough of Thunderstone Quest, published by AEG, designed by Michael Elliott. Here's the thing though, we're not going to play the base game of Thunderstone Quest because that's competitive. We're going to play what we have out on Kickstarter right now, and by we I mean AEG, and that is the Barricades mode of this game. This adds in solo or cooperative play. I'm going to be playing a cooperative game with 2 players, and what we're going to do is, this is only using the print and play, so this is not going to be final copies of anything. I'm actually just using paper that I cut out, I printed and cut it out, so you'll see that. So if you're watching this and the game has already been published, things might be a little bit different, but I'm hoping that this can just show you guys if you think it's worth backing the game for solo or cooperative play. So just like normal, in this video, we're going to set up the game, and then in the next video, we will start the playthrough. Let's get going. Here in front of us, we have our starting deck. Now, when you play cooperative or solo, there are 4 cards that you're going to change in your deck. When you play solo, there's actually a couple different ones as well. So I'm playing co-op, so what we do is we change the Thunderstone shard into these Thunderstone pieces. And yeah, I printed this out, and why I have these in sleeves is because I'm using a card underneath here to give it some support, because this is just a piece of paper. It actually works pretty well. So you'll see when we add cards to our deck, we'll just be putting them into sleeves just to make it work. The other 2 that are new is we have Bream, Sadim, and we have Jabba. And they're going to let us do different abilities that kind of help us cooperate. What the Thunderstone shard does is, if you're in a party, and I'll show you how being in a party works in the playthrough, but if you're in a party, you can you defeat a monster, you can either gain 1 experience or heal 1 wound. It is also worth 2 coins, which can help you when you're purchasing items from the village or the marketplace. Jabba here is pretty sweet. After you defeat an enemy, you can level up 1 hero paying the regular XP cost. Or you can pay 0 XP if you're leveling up a 0 level hero. And remember, we start with 5 0 level heroes. Now, we could, if we wanted to make the game easier, we could start with more upgraded heroes. I'm not doing that. I'm playing it on the normal mode, where you start with your basic 5 beginner heroes. Bree's team here is pretty sweet. Once per turn, after a die is rolled, you may discard 1 XP to re-roll the die before it resolves. You're going to see that how the enemy and the big bad in this game activates. We're going to be rolling Guardian dice. They're just going to be D12s right now, but they'll actually be Guardian dice in the game itself. And you can, if you have her in your hand, you can then lose 1 XP to re-roll it if something bad happens. And you'll still have the 2 dagger cards, which give you a +1 on your strength or attack. And if it's wielded by a 0 level hero, you get to draw a card. And also, after buying a card, you can destroy this, which is great. Great way to get rid of those starter cards. The next new piece are these prestige class boards. So these prestige class boards provide you with ways to gain special abilities throughout the game. In this print and play, we have a total of 4 of them, but I think in the actual game itself, it might even be more than that. I don't know. They haven't fully revealed everything yet, so I don't know. But at least right now, we have the Town Guard, the Duelist, the Divine Oracle, and the Treasure Hunter. Now, each one has a specific way that you can gain prestige. So for this Treasure Hunter, if you gain a treasure card, you can gain a prestige. But you have to pay the XP that's noted on the on this track over here. So I have to pay 1 XP here to then I can have this ability for the rest of the game. Then if I gain another treasure card, I can go and do this. I can put a marker here, but I have to pay 2 XP for that. So as you gain different abilities, you have to spend more XP, and you have to do the action that's up here in order to gain that prestige. So since I'm playing with 2 characters, the 2 I'm going to play with is the Town Guard and the Treasure Hunter. The Town Guard will be able to gain 1 prestige when you have a turn that ends where the village receives no damage or you use a barricade. You can also receive 1 or even 2 prestige and if you or the party damages the Guardian, and that's the big bad. On the Guardian dice, if you happen to roll a 12, you get your special ability. And the special ability for the Town Guard is you can build a barricade this turn for 0 cost. Normally it costs 12 to build a barricade. Now you haven't seen the barricades yet. I'll show you in a second. Just so you can see some of the abilities the Town Guard could gain during the game, we could have a once per turn you build a barricade for only 7 money. Once per turn when you use a barricade, you don't have to take damage, because normally you have to take damage to build a barricade. Once you buy a treasure, it costs reduced costs equal to whatever your prestige is. So if my prestige was here, it'd be 3 less to be able to buy a treasure. Cool. And all of these are cumulative. So as you gain your prestige, you gain more and more abilities. Our treasure hunter will gain a prestige just by gaining treasure cards. Sweet. You want to gain treasure cards? You also gain prestige. I like it. Here also, we can gain 1 or 2 prestige if we defeat a level 3 or plus monster with a legendary card or 2 treasure cards. Now, when you're playing the solo or cooperative variant, you don't have to play with legendary cards. If you play with them, and if you play with guild cards, it makes it a little bit easier, so I'm not going to play with those. You also do not play with side quests, which actually I think is a little bit of a bummer, because I thought the side quests were kind of cool. It gave you another objective, but I guess it makes sense thematically. You're going to be trying to protect the town. You're not going to be going on side quests. So I guess that makes sense. If we roll a 12 with a Guardian die, you can gain 2, these are bread tokens, and those tokens allow you to spend them for 1 coin, which is cool, and you can split them between any players. Some of the abilities that we have here, we have that you can do the Shop of Arcane, costs you less equal your prestige. So if our prestige was 1, it would cost 1 less. Before any player gains a treasure, they may look at the top 2 treasures and discard 1. Cool. So it gives you more options, because normally you just draw a treasure card. Yeah, so lots of cool abilities, and like I said, they're all cumulative. We've talked about barricades. What are they? Well, here we have our barricades, 1 for each of the different parts in the village. We have the marketplace, the guild's quarter, the temple, the shop of arcane wonders, and the bazaar. They're all going to start off as inactive, and we can pay 12 coins to make them active. Then we flip them over. What we can do then is, when damage would be placed in that specific location, we can instead use this barricade and take 1 damage to flip this over and then cancel that damage. On the easy mode, if the entire town is destroyed, we lose the game. If you're wanting to play on normal, which is the way we're going to play, if 3 of the different areas are destroyed, we lose the game. So that would be if the temple, the guild's quarter, and the marketplace were destroyed, done. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place these on the board just over the names that you have on the board itself. So we'll put this over the marketplace. We also have a marketplace location. So it used to be, if you're playing the base game, you wouldn't specifically go to the marketplace. You can always buy cards from the marketplace. But now you can actually go there as an action. You can place your little mini right here, and you can build a barricade at any village location for only the cost of 10. So it gives you a little benefit there. Here we have the backed out view of the board itself. So you can see we have the marketplace here with the barricade, we have the bazaar over here with the barricade, the guild's quarter with the barricade, the temple, and the shop of arcane wonders. Now, if you haven't played this game, I'll explain all of this as we're going through the playthrough. Just know that when you come to the village, unlike when you played maybe the first or the second edition, you just go there and buy cards, you actually place your mini in one of these locations. You can see these gray spots. You place them there and you get a little special benefit. So if you go here, you can buy one of these gear tokens, and the gear tokens stay around until you use them. You don't lose them at the end of the turn like you do your cards. If you come over here to the guild's quarter, you can upgrade 2 heroes instead of 1. If you come over to the temple, you can heal 2 wounds instead of 1. If you come to the shop of arcane wonders, you can purchase a treasure card, which are all of these. What's important to remember is you always can purchase cards no matter where you go within the village. So I can go to the guild's quarter and still buy cards. I can go to the marketplace and still buy cards. I can go to the bazaar and still buy cards. So it's kind of weird, because sometimes it's like, wait, can I buy cards? Yes, you can. You can always buy cards. In the center of the board, we have our heroes that we can recruit, or we can upgrade our basic adventurers. We have to have 1 wizard, 1 rogue, 1 fighter, and 1 cleric. Now, some might be a combination of those two, and you have to pick which one. I randomly chose, I have the whole game open, so I randomly chose heroes. These are the ones that came out. We have level 1s, level 2s, and level 3s. Well, here we go. There's the level 2. And if ever there are no more level 1s, you can't get any more level 1s. You can only get level 2s, and so on and so forth. So all those rules will stay the same. Over on this side of the board, we have to have 2 weapons, 2 spells, and 2 items. And then we have 2 of anything. And so I just randomly chose 2 weapons, 2 spells, 2 items, and then I shuffled all the randomizers together and pulled a 1 random spell and 1 additional random weapon. Something that they added with this 3rd edition is the treasure cards. And I love the treasure cards because these are cards that no one else will have in their deck. You'll draw them, put them right into your discard pile, and then you have them for the rest of the game. Some of them might give you more XP. Some of them might actually be heroes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like having the treasures. So you can gain them either by defeating certain enemies or by coming to the village and spending 10 coins, placing your mini here, and then purchasing one. Now, I should mention, when the village is taking damage, we're going to be placing tokens on these gray spots. If ever all 4 spots are filled, that location is destroyed. Now, here's the thing. Even if a location is destroyed, you can still gain treasure cards from defeating enemies. You just can't do it from the arcane, the Shop of Wonders. Same thing with if the marketplace is destroyed, you can still purchase cards, okay? But if ever 3 locations are totally destroyed, no, then you're done. You lose the game. I don't think I talked about the gear tokens up here. So these bread tokens will either give you +1 coin in a future turn, or it will allow your hero to gain +2 on their total skill value. So if you look at a hero, they have a number over here. That tells you how many or what type of weapon they can hold. If a weapon is at a level 2 or lower, then this Storm Skull can hold it. But if they use bread, we can increase that by 2 and maybe hold a heavier or bigger weapon because, hey, they've eaten enough food. We have lanterns here, which help with light within the dungeon, and we have potions over here, which help us heal wounds. Whenever the village takes damage, you're going to draw randomly one of these damage tokens. It's going to tell you which location's damaged. This says the marketplace or the bazaar. And yeah, like I said, if you ever draw 4 of one type, that location is destroyed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 20, I'm going to shuffle them. They say you should put them in a bag. I'm just going to put them on the table face down and draw 1 every time the village takes damage, which of course will be never because my heroes are amazing. Probably one of the coolest new aspects of this game, just the basic game, the competitive version, is these dungeon tiles that they added. There are tons of dungeon tiles. You'll only ever use 6 in a game, and you'll still use the 6 in the co-op version, but you'll randomly choose them. So I randomly chose the Fairy Meadow, the Bog, the Fire Chasm, and they're all based on levels. So this is a level 1 tile, level 2 tile, level 3 tile, and they all give maybe a benefit to you and maybe a detriment to you. There's also the wilderness. Now, in the competitive game, you pick a specific guardian/giant rat that you're going to put here that you can fight over and over again. When you play the co-op, you print out this wilderness card, put it over there. You always have the giant rat, so you're able to level up. But there are no guardians in this game. You don't play with the guardians levels 4 through 6 in the co-op or the solo version. We'll be going through all the tiles in detail during the playthrough, but I just wanted to show you a couple so you can see them. So, for example, the tree house here, whatever enemy is in there is going to get a +2. Also, it's going to cost you 1 light to be able to move into that room. Now, if you do defeat the enemy there, you have a spoils ability. You can destroy one of your starter cards, and it's optional. Over here we have the bog. We have a spoils where we can buy 1 spell or weapon card when we're there. Also, though, heroes have -1 skill, so they might not be able to hold as many or as strong of weapons because they lose some of that since they're trying to wade through the bog. In order to get here, though, you're going to have to walk through the first part of the dungeon. So you need to make sure that you have sufficient enough light to be able to walk through all the rooms that you need to in order to find and defeat monsters to gain XP, to gain maybe different gear tokens, and then that's going to allow you to level up your heroes. In the solo and co-op variant, you are going to play with a guardian, a level 4 guardian, and it's going to be essentially like another dungeon room. This is the Death Sentinel's lair. Now, this is two-sided, so I printed out 2 pages, printed them, put them back to back, because after the threat level goes from 9 to 10, we'll flip this over and it becomes the Death Sentinel. Then we have to try and defeat the Death Sentinel before the end of the game. And the end of the game is if we lose 3 of the locations in the village. We'll need to make sure to place a threat marker here, and this is going to let us know how many guardian dice we need to roll at the end of each turn. And that's per player. So each player will roll 1 guardian die, which right now is just going to be a regular D12. But when you actually get this game, it'll be a custom die, which is kind of cool. Now what we're going to do is seed the dungeon. And just out of random happenstance, I grabbed 3 different goblin types, which I think is kind of crazy. So our first one here is going to be a Bugbear Elite coming from the Goblin King's Guard. Man, that thing's got 10 health, plus the 6 from the room. That's 16 health. Ow. And then over here, we have the Stone Giant. Our level 2 enemies in the level 2 part of the dungeon is the Hobgoblin Lieutenant and the Dire Wolf Rider. And then finally, in the level 1 dungeon, we will have the Goblin Etin and we'll have the Goblin Potion Tester. Finally, we'll make sure to grab one of the minis. It doesn't matter which one. And so our Town Guard is going to look kind of like our Dwarf, and our Treasure Hunter is going to look like this crazy guy holding a sword. Okay, so we then get to draw up to our hand size. We know what our hand size is based on what our hit points are at. Our hit points are at 6, so we get to draw 6 cards. We have Thunderstone pieces, a dagger, one of the adventurers, another adventurer, another dagger, and an adventurer. For our Treasure Hunter, we will have an adventurer, a dagger, a Thunderstone piece, an adventurer, a Thunderstone piece, and Java. So there you have it. That is how we set up the game. We'll start the playthrough with the next video. I'm also going to see if anybody has anything that I did wrong, because I am reading from the print and play rules. Maybe I missed something. I also have to say that I have not played this game competitively. I just got it recently, and I just started playing it right away with the P&P. It's a lot of fun. I want to show you how it plays, so that's what we're going to do. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you at the next stop.